Opening night is this Friday, November 18th, with a fun-filled evening planned. Join in the fun when the lights kick off at 5 p.m. with milk and cookies that night, hosted by Santa in the Chautauqua Building in the park. Bring your cameras and Christmas letters. The 2022 Shelbyville Festival of Lights has over 500 displays with bright lights and vivid colors that can't be beat. Bring your family out to see the decorations starting at 5 every night through January 1st. Ho, ho, ho! To see you soon.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube when you look up WTIM TV. I have the Macon County Conservation District on the phone. That includes Senior Program Naturalist Alicia Callison. Great to have you here, Alicia.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So it is snowing on the ground right now, and I know the Macon County Conservation District, you're there's not a ton of, let's say, skiing, but you guys have some like pretty good snow equipment that you guys like to rent right now. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So first of all, I can't believe that it's snowing already. I'm not ready for winter, but it's here whether we like it or not, right?
Bring it on.
Yep. So yeah, what we do in the winter when we have enough snow on the ground, we rent skis and snowshoes here at Rock Springs Nature Center. So today is not a good day for that. We do have to have at least 4 inches of snow on the ground. But once those conditions are met, you can come to Rock Springs and you can rent a pair of skis, you can rent a pair of snowshoes, and you can take them out throughout Rock Springs and use them. So it's good for beginners. It's good for people who are experienced at cross-country skiing. It's just a really fun way to enjoy nature in the winter. So keep an eye out for if we have some big snow events, we would love to see you out here.
That's fantastic. I am a big skier myself. I
really
love going down the slopes. What kind of skiing opportunities are here in Illinois? I know they're a little bit different than what I'm used to.
Sure. So this is not going to be downhill skiing.
Okay.
Unless, something crazy happens.
Right.
It's cross-country skiing, so it's a little bit different. And the easiest way to do it is to stick to the bike trail or go onto the trails that are through our prairies here at Rock Springs, because those tend to be a little bit easier, especially for beginners. But it's basically just kind of a way to get a good workout and kind of leisurely explore the conservation area.
Now, what I'm thinking of when you cross-country ski, it's kind of like a skating motion to pick up speed.
It is, yes.
Right, kind of. Anyway, I'm just kind of thinking about, okay, so that's a lot of, and that is rowing. Let me tell you, that is a workout.
It is a workout. I think people are really surprised. They come out here and they've never done it before, and they think it's just going to be, something that's kind of really easy and fun. And it is for the most part, but you're going to get a good workout too.
Yeah. And then if you have to climb up a hill, then you got to do some like climbing angled, and it's all a great time. Anyway, so anything that I need to remember before I rent out these either snowshoes or skis?
Just remember that, like I said, we have to have 4 inches of snow on the ground.
Right.
Check our Facebook page to make sure that the Nature Center is open, just in case there's, treacherous weather conditions out there. We don't want you coming out here in a dangerous condition, but as long as everything stays open and we've got enough snow, we'll be renting those out.
How often does the Conservation Center close because of hazardous weather?
Not often, not often at all. I think last year we got like 10 inches of snow all in one go in early February this year, I guess. And we did close, I want to say, for just one day, which gave our staff time to get out here once it was safe to do so, and clear the driveways and the parking lots and that kind of thing. But I think just one day, so it's not common.
Okay. But of course, it's good to check just to be safe, especially when there's 4 inches or more.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And we would post any sort of closures on our Facebook page.
Well, Alicia, I know you have a lot of other programming all the time at the Macon County Conservation District. What do you have coming up this weekend?
Yeah, so this weekend we have a couple of fun things. If you like to get your hands dirty and you want to help make a difference in our natural areas here in Macon County, we have a volunteer restoration day coming up on Saturday. That event will take place at Griswold Conservation Area, which is in Blue Mound. So they're on the mound. And what we'll have volunteers doing is cutting down bush honeysuckle. So bush honeysuckle, for those that maybe aren't familiar, is what we call an invasive species. So it's a species of plant that's not originally from this area. It was brought here and planted here, and then it just kind of took over. It's one of those plants that will outcompete natives, and it is the first to, or it's the last to lose its leaves in the fall, and it's the first to grow its leaves in the spring. So it's taking resources from native plants that need them as well. So it's one of our biggest struggles, and not just us, but any conservation organization. And so it's really, really helpful to have a good volunteer base that can help us try to manage some of these invasive species. So we'll have volunteers at Griswold cutting down some of this bush honeysuckle. We'll have our natural resources staff on site to teach them how to use the clippers, how to use the herbicide, and kind of walking them through everything and explaining to them, why this is beneficial, why we do this, and the kind of impact that they're going to be making. This restoration day is totally free. So we would love to see some people out at Blue Mound on Saturday at 9
in the morning.
Yes,
okay.
9 in the morning.
All right. Just making sure we're not going to be cutting stuff in the middle of the night. No, I knew what you meant. Well, I guess, generally speaking, maybe we can talk specifically about bush honeysuckle, but specifically, why do we want to make sure that these invasive species don't thrive here in the state?
Sure. So as a conservation district, our main goal is to protect our natural habitat, our native habitat. So plants and wildlife that are supposed to be here in Illinois. And these invasive plants, since they're out competing our natives and they're taking resources that our native plants should be using, oftentimes our native plants suffer because these invasives are in the area. So by eliminating these invasive plants like bush honeysuckle, we allow our native plants the opportunity to grow and thrive without that kind of negative competition.
Forgive me if this is kind of a poor question, but I'm thinking about, the relationship here between invasive plants and maybe, for example, invasive insects. Does something like bush honeysuckle attract, say, a invasive insect at all? With an unnative species, will they bring another unnative species to the area, or is that not really observed as much as I'm thinking?
That's a good question. So no, that's not really an issue with bush honeysuckle. But one issue that we do have is that bush honeysuckle will grow these bright red berries. And there are a lot of species of birds and mammals that really love to eat berries. And so they eat a lot of these. And there's two problems with that. The first problem is that those berries are more or less just like candy. There's really no nutritional content to them that supports native wildlife. The second problem is we have all these native wildlife eating those berries and then dropping those seeds throughout the forest, which helps to spread it. So we don't really have an issue with invasive insects specifically utilizing bush honeysuckle, but it does cause other problems for other wildlife.
Right. That's kind of what I was looking for there, to see how it impacts the ecosystem on a greater scale, not just, the other native species, which that's very important too. We want to protect them, but also we want to protect, as you mentioned, everything that belongs in Illinois.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
And again, that's coming up at 9 in the morning at which one of your locations? Is that in Blue Mound?
That's it. Yes, Griswold Conservation Area in Blue Mound.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to add about that program coming up this weekend?
Not specifically, other than I would just say that we rely heavily on our volunteer base. We would not be able to do what we do without them. So if you have ever helped out here at the Conservation District, or if you have an interest in helping out, we greatly appreciate everything that our volunteers do for us.
Macon County Conservation District Senior Program Naturalist Alicia Callison here on the WTIM Morning Show. More from her after this short break here on WTIM, your information station, online, TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans slightly higher. Chicago wheat double-digit lower. December corn 654.5 down 2 3/4. March corn down 3 1/4, 656. May corn 655 3/4 down 2 3/4. January beans up 1/4, 1440 3/4. March beans up 3/4, 1445.5. May beans 1451 3/4, up 3/4. December Chicago wheat down 16, 802.5. March wheat down 15, 823 1/4. December bean meal 406.60, up 60 cents. December bean oil up 13 cents, 76.41. In the livestock market, November feeders 176.37, down 57 cents. December live cattle down 50 cents, 151.07. December lean hogs 86.02, up $1.15. And I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network.
Proven banking solutions are a must for today's business owner. Hi, I'm Nick Epley with People's Bank and Trust. If your company needs products like online bill pay, remote deposit, and payroll direct deposit, or better checking and savings account options, then we need to talk. I can customize our business banking and lending plans to fit your company's needs. Call 888-PBT-1954 or visit bankpbt.com today. We want to be your business banking partner. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
If you're looking for local hunting and fishing information, then join us for Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, Saturdays at 10 a.m. here on WTIM. Every weekend, we'll offer detailed local fishing reports from professional guides. We'll swap stories with local celebrity sportsmen, and I'll invite you to share your stories as well. Central Illinois Outdoors with Jared White, every Saturday morning at 10 on all WTIM platforms. And on demand at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings in Pana and the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau.
Today, I want to talk about a very specific soybean. It's an Enlist E3 soybean, but not just any Enlist E3 soybean. Let me pull over. I'm at a Pioneer test plot near Portageville, Missouri. This field is dedicated to studying new Pioneer brand A-Series Enlist E3 soybeans. What makes these soybeans special? Because instead of the standard germplasm that is in most Enlist E3 soybeans, Pioneer brand A-Series Enlist E3 soybeans have exclusive and elite germplasm. Obviously, when we're talking about germplasm, you can't see that with the naked eye. That's why Pioneer has test plots like this one all over the country to see how their exclusive germplasm performs in the real world. And so far, their performance is impressive. Strong yield potential and great agronomic characteristics impressive. From their DNA in the lab to their health in the field, Pioneer brand A-Series Enlist E3 soybeans are literally like no other.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. Alicia Callison on the phone from the Macon County Conservation District. She is the Director of Program Services with the Macon County Conservation District. And Alicia, you have a lot of great programs coming up. You talked a little bit about the cleanup over in Blue Mound at the Griswold Conservation Center. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Griswold Conservation Area.
On the Griswold Conservation Area coming up this Saturday at 9 a.m. But you also have another great program coming up this weekend. And I think it's going to be a great time to learn about how to make a harvest wreath for everyone, really. But really, this is one for the adults. Tell me a little bit about your harvest wreath making program.
Sure. So we do a lot of programs for children out here. And one thing that we like to do is try to offer some things for the adults as well. So we found that craft making programs tend to be pretty popular. with adults. So we are offering a harvest wreath craft this weekend, this Saturday at 2 p.m. at Rock Springs Nature Center. And what we'll be doing is providing all the supplies that you need to create your own fall autumn wreath. So we'll have some, wreath forms. We'll have some fake plants and foliage that you can use. We'll be walking you through the whole process, how to create it. And then at the end of the program, you'll have your own fall wreath that you can take home and display wherever you'd like.
That's really cool. Have you made one before?
I have. We did this program. Actually, it's been a few years ago now, but I led the program the last time we did it, and I am not a super crafty person, so I was really impressed with myself that I was able to make one, and it was pretty. So I think people will be happy with the end product.
Right. And that's kind of what I was wondering too, if you were a crafty person, and if you weren't, how you felt about it. And it sounds like you did a pretty good job, and you expect everyone else to be able to do a pretty good job through the guidance of the Macon County Conservation District.
Definitely, yes. I think everybody will leave with something that is, individual to them and something that they're proud of.
How long did it last for you? I know you said there's some fake foliage in there too, but I mean, is this something that I can put out next year too?
Yeah, I put mine out. We did this program, I want to say it was actually 4 years ago. And so I put mine out for 2 years in a row, and then I put it in a box and it got crushed. So as long as you don't do that, I think it'll last you for a long time.
Okay. Well, one more time with the details, time, date, place, etc.
Yeah, so it's this Saturday, 2 p.m. at Rock Springs Nature Center. You can register for that program on our website at maconcountyconservation.org.
All right. And also, I know that going back to the kids, you are always trying to educate children on conservation, and especially with the Macon County Conservation District. And that doesn't just include the field trips that the public and private school kids take, also involves educating the homeschool kids too. So tell me what kind of homeschool program that you have coming up here, I believe this weekend.
Yeah, so one of the groups of kiddos that we feel like we weren't engaging with enough was our homeschool kiddos. So we wanted to start offering something that was specifically for them. So we've been doing homeschool programs once a month, and our next one is coming up Tuesday, so a week from today, at Rock Springs Nature Center. And the theme for this one is changing seasons. So the goal with these programs is to get these children outside, engaging with nature, doing some hands-on activities and learning. And the goal here will be to talk to them about what are the changes that are happening in the fall? What are the plants getting ready to do for the winter? What are the animals getting ready to do for the winter? Why are these changes even happening? So these are some of the things that we'll talk about with them. And so far, these have been going over pretty well. We've been really enjoying it, and I think the kiddos have been too. So if you have a homeschooler, we would love to see them. These classes are for ages 6 through 15. So it's a pretty wide range that we're trying to engage with here.
So that will be Tuesday, November 22nd. What time did you say?
That is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Excellent. At the Rock Springs Conservation Center.
Yes.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to add about that program? Sounds like a lot of fun.
No, nothing specific. I think it will be a lot of fun. Like I said, we want to get them outside. We want to engage with them and do some hands-on stuff outside. So it should be a lot of fun.
Alicia, here we have about a minute left. Why don't you take a quick preview of some of the things that you're planning for winter?
Yeah, so in December, on December 10th, we will have our annual Geminid meteor shower viewing program out at Friends Creek Conservation Area. That's always a fun time. And then in January, we'll be bringing back our trips to Starved Rock for eagle viewing. That's something that we used to do every year, and then we stopped doing because of COVID, and we're trying it again this year. So we'll be taking people in a van up to Starved Rock to look for bald eagles along the river there at Starved Rock. It's usually a good time, and it's always really amazing to see all of the eagles congregating around the river there. So we have these programs coming up. We have our maple syrup programs coming up in February. If you want to be the first to know about programs that we've got going on, check out our website, maconcountyconservation.org, and you can sign up there for our newsletter. We can mail it to you, or now we can also email it to you as well. So lots of really fun stuff coming up this winter.
Director of Program Services with the Macon County Conservation District, Alicia Callison. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you.
WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
News this hour.